Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. It's Monday, 17th of October. I'm Tony Haggerty, Haggerty10, as you know, Twitter handle by now, off by heart. And I'm joined today by Aidan Macdonald at Aidan C. Macdonald. Aidan, how are you?
I'm very good, Tony. How are you?
Good. Happy Monday, isn't it? But we'll get to that
Indeed.
in the fullness of time. Guys, have to draw your attention to this. It's your last chance tonight, there you go, to subscribe to win this all expenses paid trip for two to Madrid to watch Celtic play in the Bernabeu. As you know, Celtic travel to the Santiago Bernabeu to play Real Madrid in their final Champions League Group F match on November the 2nd. And one of you and a friend can be there at the match, courtesy of the Celtic Way and Travel Bank Holidays. As you can see on the screen just now, it's our best subscription offer ever. And the prize is not just 2 tickets to the match, but it's the whole trip. 2 match tickets, 2 seats and a direct return flight from Madrid to Glasgow, 4-star accommodation in the centre of the city, and we'll even throw a bit of spending money for you while you're there. Now, what do you need to do to enter this draw for this prize? You need to subscribe, guys. That's what you need to do. So for all of you that have subscribed already, you should have received a form in your email inbox, and if you filled in that form, you're automatically entered into the draw. If you've not subscribed, look at the offer we've got. Subscribe at £6 for 6 months and you get full access to everything that's written on the web, as well as the podcasts. You see big interviews, in-depth features, tactical and data analysis. Got a smashing lineup of columnists and some thought-provoking opinion pieces. It's all there. £6 for 6 months of full access. And all you have to do is hit a button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. And if you're a new subscriber, you'll also get the form. Fill in the form and you'll join the other subscribers in the draw. It ends at midnight tonight, guys. Can't stress that enough. Hit that button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. It's a brilliant prize, isn't it, Aidan?
Yeah, it's a really great opportunity, and as we've obviously mentioned previously, Tony, if Celtic, particularly if they get a result against Shakhtar, there's going to be a lot on that final group stage match with a chance of potential Europa League. So, no, it's a brilliant prize.
And so it was domestic duty on Saturday, Aidan, and Celtic scurried 6 of the best past Hibs. A good old-fashioned Inverness Clacknacuddin was dished out to Hibernian. Love it. Celtic getting back on the horse. I wrote a piece about it. Kind of stole some lines from Blazing Saddles because it's one of my favourite films. And get back in the horse, back in the saddle. But yeah, and I think the first comment here today sums up exactly. Adrian Stone says, "Can I start the chat by saying all reports of Celtic demise have been greatly exaggerated?" Famous Mark Twain quote about his death. But there you go. Yes, indeed, Aidan. Celtic back to their best. Lots of stuff to enthuse about. Take it away, young Aidan. The stage is yours. What impressed you most?
That's a hard question, Tony. There was so much to be happy about from the performance. Obvious ones, James Forrest. It was great to see him hit that landmark of 100 goals.
Sorry, we'll start with that, Aidan. A round of applause for James Forrest joining the elite club, becoming the 30th player to score 100 goals for Celtic. Well done, James Forrest. Well deserved.
And as well as getting that landmark, I actually thought his overall performance was pretty good, given that's his first league start of the season, only his second domestic start overall. I think it was a game up at Ross County he was involved in as well in the League Cup. So Forrest was obviously a real obvious positive. Also thought Alexandro Bernabe, he was excellent as well. Particularly his assist for the second goal that Yakimakis scored was
tremendous.
Perfect. I mean, the
Love
run
those kind of goals, Aidan. Love those kind of goals.
It's just so satisfying, isn't it, Tony? I mean, the run is excellent. The way he just kind of glazed in the ring, and then the ball's inch perfect, and obviously the finish from Yakimakis, I'm sure we'll talk about at some point today as well, was absolutely excellent. But I would say they were kind of 2 overall positives, Tony. But
I mean, my thoughts on that. Feed the Greek and he will score. I mean, put it in front of him. I mean, he could have fallen over that ball. It was that good by Bernabe.
And that was a brilliant pass.
Defence splitting, I think it's called in football parlance. Yeah, as you say, so much to enthuse about the overall performance. I think Ange was very chuffed as well that, I think Celtic got their groove back. So many things were good about the weekend. Thought Aaron Moy was excellent as well. Two wonderful assists for two goals, and just a general all round excellent performance in the middle of the park. And I think a lot of people saw on Saturday exactly what Aaron Moy brings to the table.
Yeah, Aaron Moy it probably was comfortably his best performance in a Celtic shirt. And also we kind of spoken about previously that when he was coming on, maybe he's not always looking to play the sort of, World Cup pass, but his assists were excellent at the weekend. So that's a real positive. It's another option in that position, with Callum McGregor being out. So the fact that Aaron Moy is starting to hopefully hit a bit of form is a real positive, definitely.
Also as well, Sead Haksabanović's first half performance. I mean, I know he didn't appear for the second half, but he still got a 7 in my ratings, Aidan, only because he played 45 minutes, but he was on course for an 8 or a 9 because he was on fire.
Haksabanović, Tony, I'm going to call it right now. What a player! Absolutely, I'm going to put.
Are you having him? Are you having Haksabanović?
He's absolutely just amazing. I think the guy's absolutely brilliant, and he only played 45 minutes, like you say. But the fact that he got a 7 in your ratings just shows how effective he was. Every time he got the ball, he looked dangerous. And not to look too far back, but I think particularly in the first half against Leipzig, he was one of the positives from that as well.
Yeah.
Even in a tougher game, he stepped up and was always looking to try and create stuff. So Haksabanović is just looking absolutely brilliant, Tony. And I'm delighted as well. He's our player. It's not someone we've got on loan or anything.
Yeah.
A daily sign. So yeah, and he can also play across a variety of the kind of front three positions as well. So no, Haksabanović looks absolutely brilliant.
There you go. You heard it here. Andrew Gillier comes in and says the first time Angie's like Moy free instead of filling holes, and I quite like that about Moy. And Andrew backs up your point because back in to say, Andrew says I like Haksabanović. Who doesn't? So there you go. But as I touched upon earlier, there was just so much to enthuse about the retro Celtic. Haksabanović's first half display was outstanding. And Jason Lee, Moy bien, yep, indeed. You cannot. I think it's a happy Monday when the Celtic supporters and they're coming onto the chat and they're just enthusing about everything. Paul Cook, congratulations to James Forrest reaching 100 goals club. Yep, Beg Leg Lonergan, James Forrest club legend now. Indeed, Ange touched upon that as well. He was talking about when you look back in your career, it's the things that you've achieved that stand the test of time, and that's something that James Forrest will. Nobody can take that away from him, and it is an elite and exclusive club, and I think it's well deserved. That's the 14th season in a row he scored for Celtic, and he still looks as if he's about 12, doesn't he? He's evergreen. He just doesn't seem to age. Aidan, a bit like yourself.
I'll take that in comparison. But yeah, James Forrest, those stats that you're kind of throwing out there, 14 seasons in a row, is absolutely superb. When you think at times he really, and even in the last couple of years, he's really been plagued with injuries. So the fact that he's been able to contribute those numbers is excellent. And you've seen what was brilliant from Forrest, as he actually did when he came on against Leipzig as well. He was running, he was trying to get at people.
Yeah.
As well as his goals, he was looking to create stuff and be a threat. So it's a real positive because there's going to be so many games this season. So if you can add to already pretty strong forward line when everyone's fit, if you can add, a fit and firing James Forrest, obviously at the moment, it's a smaller sample size, but longer term, if you can add a fit and firing James Forrest, that's going to make Celtic even stronger, up the top of the park.
Sam Harry comes in. James just seemed to have upped his game without a doubt, and still comments coming in. David Ferguson sort of turns out YouTube reels are worth watching regarding Haksabanović, and the retro Celtic agrees with yourself. Haksabanović is only going to get better and better when he reaches top fitness. Yes, I'd hate to see him at top fitness, but yeah. But it was just good to see Celtic get. We spoke about it in the midweek. They're getting their groove back, didn't they? And domestic mojo we spoke about. So it was good to see them get back to that and put away the chances. And even the much maligned Maeda, I was delighted for him. What an assist that was for Moy, but he stroked it away very calmly and did very well when he came on, yeah.
Yeah, no, and that will only do his confidence the world of good. I know he's been struggling a wee bit recently, Maeda, but he has quality. We've seen that when he came in at the start of January last season. the guy as a quality player, he's maybe not, pound for pound the best technically in the whole squad, but he's got plenty of positive attributes, and his goal scoring record isn't that bad either, and he took his goal really, really well. So no, I was really, really happy for him, Tony, and hopefully he can kick on now.
Guys, keep your comments coming in. Sam Hartley, tongue in cheek, could have been 7-1. Yes, we'll maybe park that, come back to that at some point. David Ferguson says, is Greg Taylor going to struggle to get his jersey back? I can almost see Sean bursting through the screen here and saying, no, David, no. But it's just good to see that Burnaby's coming onto a game and looking like he's settled a wee bit more now, Aidan, and getting into his own personal groove. Stuart Ross has put up a piece on the website today, and have a look at that. I'll try and find the link and put it in the comments section. But yeah, Burnaby was excellent, wasn't he?
Oh, he was superb, and it's not bad to have competition in a position. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
For all you know, like Greg Taylor, he could get injured or something. So even though he, in my head anyway, and imagine Andrew's head, is the number one choice at the moment, it's good to have competition in that position. So yeah, Burnaby was absolutely excellent. That was what we were promised when you heard the scouting reports at the time.
Yes.
I remember you writing pieces on him, Tony, not long after he signed, and that was the sort of performance like that is what you were told. This is what this guy can bring. His delivery, etc., is very good. He's quick. He'll look to get in an attacking position. He'll take a man on, etc. And I thought defensively he was pretty good as well, Tony. I mean, Hibs were quite open, which obviously allowed for more space going forward, but also it probably meant Celtic had to defend a wee bit more at times than usually would if somebody was just parking the bus. So I thought he was fine defensively as well. I know he'll come up against tougher tests, obviously, particularly if we did stay in Europe after Christmas and he was involved then. But I thought he was fine, Tony, from a defensive standpoint.
I'll put the link into Stuart Ross's analytical piece. It's worth reading, guys, on Alexandro Burnaby. You can see it in the comment section there. Have a go at that. It's very, very good, as Stuart Ross's analytical pieces usually are. Thanks for that, Stuart. And Jason Lee comes in with a point. He says, at this point, I prefer Anthony Ralston over Josip Juranovic. Controversial or not, Aidan?
I like both of them, Tony. I'll sit on that big fence.
The big fence here, yeah.
Big fan of the fence. I do like both of them, and I think there's certain games when they're both suited. I know you had mentioned ahead of the St Johnstone game, so going back, a couple of weeks now, that Anthony Ralston would suit coming into that just because of the physical battle.
Yeah,
and I would say you're probably proved right in that case. I think Juranovic is a quality player, though. I think, particularly with these two Champions League games left, as we've mentioned already, there is still something on them. I would expect Juranovic to play like that. But once again, it's a long season. And even if we take it in a kind of smaller sample size between now and the World Cup break, there is so much football. So there's no reason that both of them can't play between now and the end of the break next month. So yeah, I like both of them, Tony. That was a long-winded way of saying I like both of them.
Sam Hartley comes in, great confidence, cohesion, and clinical in front of goal. Yep, I think that's what was missing in some of those European performances, that clinical edge in front of goal. But Peter King, I'll try it again. Peter King brings everybody back down to earth with this one. Aidan, hi guys, good performance, but Hibs are really poor. Don't get carried away with the result, as they still gave a goal away. Yep, that's fair enough, people. That's Peter's opinion, and he's right to point that out. But I think you've still got to praise a very good performance, Peter. Nobody's getting carried away. Just saying that they played really well in comparison to weeks gone past, and they seem to be back in the groove and scoring goals for fun. And it could have been more, couldn't it, Aidan?
Yeah, there was plenty of opportunities for more goals, as there is in most Celtic games these days. Even when Celtic do score a lot of goals, you're still coming away thinking it could have been more. But just to touch on what the comment I was saying there, I understand that point of view. Hibs were very open. You were given a lot of space because they did try and come and attack, and the majority of teams probably out with Rangers in the league will come and sit in a lot more than Hibs did. So yeah, I do take that point, but given that they've not scored as many goals as supporters would have liked recently, it's hard not to, in a good mood. after Celtic winning 6-1. So, yeah, can't get too carried away, but you can also enjoy the result, Tony.
Of course, I think that's a happy medium that you strike there. And I'm going to ask you this, Aidan, because a lot of people are. If there was a negative on Saturday, they thought it was McLean's performance, the referee. Now, what did you think of that? And I think there was specifically the one in the last minute when Barnaby's going through. He's clearly fouled, but he's still his strength, and he managed to beat them. And he squares it for Cuba. Cuba puts it away, but he probably heard the whistle, and he gave the foul against Barnaby. I mean, most people were apoplectic at that, and there was various other decisions that Stephen McLean that baffled the home supporters. Was he that bad?
I don't think it was a great performance from the referee. I don't like to talk about
no, I'm not a big lover of calling him out, but
too much. But yeah, I think his performance did leave a little bit to be desired, Tony. I was a bit baffled by the decision that you mentioned there, to be honest.
The one at the end was particularly shocking. I thought, these are the ones that supporters really, really, get irate about, so and get really, really angry. So I think it angered the Celtics because they were going to try and make it 7-1, and people say, oh, it's a conspiracy, you try to stop it and all that. I don't buy that theory, but I just thought at times there were some decisions which were generally baffling, and you hope that VAR will clear some of these up, but will they? I'm not so sure.
Yes, that remains to be seen. I know we'll probably be talking a lot about VAR as it's also coming in and Saturday, isn't it?
Saturday against Hearts, yeah.
We'll discuss it at times this week and probably for years to come, to be honest, based off how VARs went down south and Europe, etc. Will VAR clear it up? I don't know, would be the answer to that question. At the end of the day, it is the same referees and the same referees that are, looking back at it, that are making decisions that previously haven't always got it right on the pitch. It's a difficult one. Hopefully VAR does benefit long term. My only concern, without going in too much about the technology, because I know we'll discuss that, my only concern is it did take a while, in England, Germany, Spain, etc., and in the Champions League to sort of get to a certain level of consistency. And we've seen at times that despite that, supporters and managers such as even Pep Guardiola yesterday, they're still not always convinced that the referee / technology gets it right. My only worry is down south, etc., in the Champions League, there's a lot more money, a lot of the officials are full time, and it still took a sort of teething period. So imagine it is going to be the same up here. But
period in Scotland, won't there?
I know. Yeah. Well, we'll have to see how it goes, but fingers crossed it works out and doesn't disrupt the flow of the game too much.
Right, Roberts, 2 words: bad referee. There you go. And David Ferguson, he's more Tony. It is a conspiracy. Emphasis on is, plain and simple. Fair enough, David. If that's your thoughts, then I can't dissuade you from that. But I just thought he was particularly poor on Saturday, Stephen McLean, and a lot of people are saying, well, you're best to call it out when you win 6-1, but you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, aren't they, in these situations? So, but as I say, I don't like the focus of attention to be on referees, but I thought I would mention it just to get your thoughts, Aidan, because there's plenty more to enthuse about and be positive about. Will Celtic move on to Wednesday and League Cup against Motherwell, and we'll discuss that in the fullness of time, but they're going there travelling in fine fettle, and some players now reaching some top form, which is excellent. Good to see Yakimakis get a couple of goals as well on his last contribution before he went off. Hopefully he's not injured, and we'll miss was to have the presence of mind to still put the ball in the back of the net, Aidan.
Yeah, it was absolutely clinical. But like we've mentioned, the goals already were superb. The quality of those finishes. I know the second one maybe took a slight deflection as well off the Hibs defender, but it was just so satisfying, both of the goals. And, that's what Yakimakis can give you. He's a different player from Kyogo, etc. But when it comes to being in that box, he's absolutely lethal. And hopefully he's not injured, Tony. There's not really any many negatives from that game at the weekend. Maybe one is the Yakimakis thing. Hopefully he's okay. Andrew update at his presser.
Yes.
Will be tomorrow. So
Haksabanovic as well had a knock, didn't he? So hopefully, hopefully for you, because you're in the Haksabanovic fan club and you don't want to see him miss any games now. You're nailed your colours firmly to the mast.
I've given him the kiss of death. I've called him a player. He'll be out for a while, but yeah, fingers crossed, because the last thing you want is injuries to forward players when there's already, Jota, etc. is already out injured. So yeah,
I mean, I think he said Jota had a chance this week, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So in his presser, and his presser before the Hibs game was quite something as well, wasn't it? He didn't hold back. He had a couple of things to get off his chest, didn't he? Eventually, Aidan, the manager.
Ange definitely was quite fiery in his presser on Friday, as we've came to expect, to be fair, at times, but he let some people know what his thoughts were.
Yeah, I think in no uncertain terms, because I think he was, and I think he had a point as well, in terms of the way Celtic went about their Champions League business. I'm not saying there's a good way to lose, but Celtic were trying to win football matches, weren't they? They never parked the bus, and he was stressing that the fine margins in football about missed chances. Now, Celtic took a lot of their chances on Saturday clinically. They failed to do that in the Champions League, but if they keep playing in that arena and playing against quality opposition, it will fall for them at some point, Aidan. And that was what he was trying to stress. Speaking for his own club, he wasn't speaking about any other clubs and their performances, and he was quite right to point that out, wasn't he?
And just made clear, Celtic is who he represents. That's all he's going to really be talking about. Even when Celtic lose games, he'll never want to talk about what the team did well or what the team did wrong, rather than focus on other sides. And I did understand some of the points he was making. This kind of obsession that some people seem to have with, you need to change your playing style for Europe. I just kind of wish he would stop getting asked that question, because you know what the answer is going to be. And we've obviously discussed the ups and a lot of downs from the Champions League group to death at this point so far. But we have mentioned that the reason Celtic had so many chances and so many opportunities, in large part, was due to the system and the way Ange plays.
Yeah.
And if it wouldn't, people would not be asking these questions if we had taken the chances.
Of course.
So I can understand people asking questions about how do you become more clinical, is that a psychological thing, etc. I understand that point of view, because we've debated that as well.
Yeah.
But the sort of questions about the system are just tiresome at this point, to be honest, Tony.
And I think the manager was getting tired of that and just kind of let everybody know in no uncertain terms that, you keep asking me, but the answer is going to be the same. Michael Duffin goes in and says, Chris Sutton said that when Celtic clicked again, basically some of them will get destroyed. It's still to come. That performance at the weekend wasn't even a full-strength team. I thought it was a bit of a distraction on Saturday, to be fair. Aidan, 6 going on a lot, but there you have it.
If that's not a destruction, Tony,
I'd like to see what it is. I'm looking forward to that, to be fair.
Unless there's another 9-0 on the cards, but, I kind of was thinking that was a one-off, but obviously the team will have years to go up, and the commentators like to point out, Jota, etc. wasn't involved.
Yeah.
So I hope
Cal Mack's not involved.
Cal McGregor, of course, he wasn't involved either. So there's definitely more to come from the team. But if that's not a destruction, then fair enough.
Brian Roberts come back in. We're still on a learning curve in Europe. We are indeed. I agree with that. We spoke about that, and we alluded to the fact that regular contributor Rab McEwen had said that this would be a learning curve for Celtic in Europe this season, and if they can get back into the Champions League next season, then you'd maybe see them making inroads and progress. Remains to be seen on that, but still hopeful that Celtic can win the league and get automatic entry again, Aidan. That's what Celtic need to concentrate on now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the
get themselves into the Europa League in the next 2 European games.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not over yet. In Europe, we are still playing for a spot post-Christmas, even if it's not what fans are hoping for in the Champions League. So there's still an opportunity, and the league is always the main aim, trying to win. And there's that extra carrot dangling, like there was last season, once it was confirmed it was happening, that the champ of the Champions League. So I think we will learn from this season in terms of Europe. there is a long way to go, and Andrews acknowledged that himself. I mean, he was in the presser that we've already mentioned. Excuse me, he was asked about whether or not Celtic could take confidence in the fact that Juventus had been losing to smaller teams, or Club Brugge, obviously finishing top of their group. I know Club Brugge do have quite a significant budget, maybe despite not being as big a name. So I don't know how good an example that was actually in hindsight for myself when I was talking about it. But
to be fair, Ange pointed out the history of those clubs as well, didn't he?
It took a while to.
He just said to them, their results always been like that, and it was an instant answer back. And he's across everything.
It's clearly something he's thought about.
And he knows it, but you're not going to take him on because he knows more about football than
no, I know.
You know, we just try and second guess him with his formation. I think I got 9 on Saturday, which was respectable.
That was a good number, Tony. I think I still got that off it. Fingers crossed for the game this week and we'll make up for it. But just to touch on that point again, Ange was bang on what he was saying. It took those clubs a while to sort of get steady progress. And you've seen that from, just to use the Club Brugge example. So I'll contradict myself twice here. I was using them, then I wasn't using them. I'll go back to it since it suits me this time. Obviously, last season, I remember seeing some of the games because former Celtic player Jack Hendry was involved. Mm-hmm. And they did get, I think they got the solitary victory away to Leipzig. And then I think they got a draw with PSG, so they get 4 points overall. But they used it as a building block, and then they came back also this season. So that could potentially matter if Celtic were to beat Shakhtar. Sure. Obviously, we would still have the Real Madrid game to go. But if you did finish in 4 points, that could be used as a sort of stepping stone for next year. So, I can understand why the question was asked and why Andrew gave the response he did as well. So it was an interesting one, I thought.
Me too. I thought his stuff on Friday presser was terrific. I really did. Kieran 5491 comes in and says the stop-start nature of pure goal scoring Ange ball is like a great machine clicking into place. The makings of a historic Celtic side in the works. I think that's what everybody of a green and white persuasion is hoping for, Kieran. So there you go. The peg leg ones. Personally, I couldn't give a fiddlers if we make the Europa League or not. The Champions League is where it's at. I think a lot of Celtic supporters still want to be in the Europa League peg leg, to be fair. I mean, obviously, they're out of the Champions League, so that's fair enough. But I think there's still the Europa League football to play for. And, my thoughts, Aidan, you've got to be as competitive as you can in every competition. And you can't say Celtic weren't competitive in the Champions League. And I agree with the manager wholeheartedly. You can't say they didn't deserve to be there, because they did. Results didn't go the Celtic's way. Fine margins that we've spoken about to death, so we'll see how it goes. But I think he's determined to get them back there and make inroads in it. But a good gauge would be to get into the Europa League and see if they can work their way through the rounds and get to the latter stages of that.
If Celtic were, firstly, if they were to get to Europa League, that would have meant that you went and took something away to Real Madrid, which would be a phenomenal achievement. That I don't think we could understate how massive that would be if you beat Shakhtar, obviously, which I know is looking quite far ahead, which we don't like to do. But just since the commenter was mentioning Europa League there, I think Andrew would be desperate now, but given that's what's left to be in the Europa League. The reason is last season Celtic did obviously dropped into the conference. They did compete at times in the Europa League as well. And overall, Andrew's a wee bit disappointed how it turned out, particularly given the first two. Sorry, not the first two away games. The away game to Betis and the away game to Leverkusen, given they were in front in both those fixtures. So, given it being a year on since then, the squad's improved, the teams had a lot more together. I think Andrew would be interested in be wanting to show that in terms of that level of European football, that Celtic have levelled up, sort of thing. So he will be desperate to try and make the Europa League, but as we know, it's not going to be easy. But
Michael Duffin comes in and says it was Ange's first goal to Champions League. I'd like a run in the Europa League. That would help the squad. And then others are coming in. Brian Robertson, baby steps, indeed. Fair enough. And Retro Celtic comes back in. Being a cup game, Motherwell will have to come out and have a go on Wednesday. That's an interesting one as well, because we'll see what Celtic team he plays. But obviously, defence of the League Cup, Premier Sports Cup, whatever you want to call it. League Cup, in my head, Aidan, it's always a League Cup. I'm a traditionalist that way. But they'll want to make a good defence of that, and they'll fancy their chances going to Fir Park on the back of that performance with the personnel that played, and even more personnel to be added if the likes of Jota is fit and Haksabanovic can prove his fitness and get an extended run of games.
Definitely, and obviously there's no better way to go into what will be a tough cup fixture than winning 6-1 before it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's the League Cup, which I will go off as well, Tony, in terms of how I view it like you. It's the League
Thank
Cup.
you very much. That's very kind. Appreciate that. And that's a good jumping off point because we'll preview that in the coming days. But before I go, you know what I'm going to say. Midnight tonight, guys. It ends midnight tonight. You've got to be in it to win it. It's a wonderful prize. Hit that subscribe button. It's £6 for the next 6 months. Access to everything on the website as well as the pods. Hit the button www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. And also, if you've already subscribed, you'll have got the forum. You'll get the form, fill it in. You're in the draw, guys. All I can say is good luck. Somebody's going to win this, Aidan. Can't wait to find out who it is. It's a wonderful prize. And just do it. Hit the button www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. £6 for 6 months. A bargain. And if you've already subscribed, thank you so much for your subscription. We appreciate it. Thank you to all the commenters. Lots of guys were coming in today because it's always a happy Monday when Celtic win at the weekend, Aidan, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a really enjoyable show today, Tony. Nothing better than talking about Celtic's scoring 6 goals.
Indeed. So thank you for your contribution. First class, enjoyed that. And you can always tell because that's more than half an hour past in the blinking of an eye. We'll reconvene tomorrow, guys. It'll be myself and Aidan as the boss man. Sean's on holiday, isn't he, this week, I believe? But no doubt he'll be tuning in from a secret location. No telling us where he is. He'll be somewhere. Hopefully he's enjoyed it as well. Have a good holiday, Sean. We'll see you in the fullness of time. Take care. It is a happy Monday. We'll count down to Wednesday. League Cup defence. Firth Park, Motherwell. Next stop. Have a good day, guys. All the best. Cheers, Aidan.
Cheers, guys.